Hi, welcome to Flux News. Date is 2015. You're here with Dom and Blackhole. And the first article today is Schoolgirls feared to have travelled to Syria to join ISIS. This is these straight A students were last seen on Tuesday morning. This is a picture of them. Police are attempting to trace three East London schoolgirls who may have travelled to Syria to join ISIS. Shamama Belgam, 15, Khadija Sultana, 16, and a third 15-year-old female, whose parents have asked is not named, were last seen on Tuesday morning when they told parents of the day. But they were described by teachers at Bethnal Green Academy School as straight A students, instead met and travelled to Gatwick Airport, where they boarded a Turkish Airlines flight that landed in Istanbul that evening. Authorities are concerned the three girls intend to go to ISIS-controlled Syria to join the terror group. We are extremely concerned for the safety of these young girls and would urge anyone with information to come forward and speak to the police, said Metropolitan Police Commando Richard Walton. Our priority is the safe return of these girls to their families. We are reaching out in the social media and social media that Shamama, Khadija and their friend hear our messages, hear our concerns for their safety, and have the courage to return to their families who are so worried about them. ISIS are luring female recruits with kittens and Nutella, says CNN. That's one. We are concerned about the number of girls and young women who have attempted to travel to the part of Syria that is controlled by the terrorist group calling themselves Islamic State. Shamima Begum is described as being 5'7" tall, wearing black thick-rimmed glasses, a black hijab, a light brown and black leopard print scarf, a dark red jumper, black trousers and jacket. She speaks English with a low and Bengali. This is the pictures of him here. He's the Sultana, so if you've know any of them, seen him. Sultana is 5'6" tall, slim and wearing black rimmed glasses, a long black jacket with an hood, grey striped scarf, grey jumper, dark red trousers and carrying a black oldall. She speaks English with a London accent and Bengali. The third girl is 5'6" tall, slim and wearing black thick rimmed glasses, a black headscarf, long dark green jacket with a fur lined hood, a light yellow long sleeve top, black trousers. She speaks Amharic. Police have urged anyone who sees the girls to contact the authorities. So yeah, it looks like they've gone. There's quite a few going to Syria, but what I've heard is that a few of them, reports that I've read, is that a few girls what have gone there are wanting to come back, but they're not being allowed because the Islamic State won't allow them. And if they do return, then they execute them. So will they come back? I don't know.
They're definitely putting themselves in harm's way, aren't they?
In another way, I mean, they've obviously been on the internet with Islamic State and gone over there. Or they've got a family member there or something, or friends, who just to get up and go there. Being brainwashed. Right, moving on. Police issue warning over cashpoint scam. Police have issued a warning to people withdrawing cash from ATMs after a spate of distraction thefts across the West Midlands. CCTV footage by West Midlands Police shows the person at the cash machine, to tell them it isn't working. Having memorised the PIN, they then use a piece of paper to cover the screen so the transaction is cancelled and pocket the card. The scam has resulted in around 9,000 being taken from a number of people using cash points. The police have urged the public to be more cautious with withdrawing cash by choosing well-lit areas, shielding your PIN, avoiding ATMs with suspicious people nearby. This is a little video here. A thief in action. You pocket it there. So that's just how easy it can be done. She doesn't even suspect a thing. There's some thing is here, pictures here. Police want to identify this man in connection with the thefts. They're not very good, but if someone knows him, will probably recognise him. Someone who knows him. Police have urged the public to be more cautious, they said. We're determined to find these responsible for these thefts, but in the meantime, we're keen to spread the word know what's happening so they can protect themselves. If you're at a cash point and someone approaches you, don't take their word for it that the machine isn't working. Simply ignore them and carry on as you are, but make sure you keep your PIN covered at all times. If you do spot any suspicious activity like this, then please call police straight away. Sadly, it's often older people, the most vulnerable in our society, who are the target of these crimes. Authorities are also searching for a man in connection with the thefts. That's which is him. I think he will be caught. I mean, they've got him a picture of him, so it's only a matter of time before they get him. Yeah, if you're using ATMs, no, that's not one. Moving on to the third article today is no excuse anti-illegal parking ban caught parking illegally twice. A council van promoting legal parking and bearing the slogan "No excuse" has been caught parking illegally twice. The parking warden's van, on which are emblazoned anti-legal parking slogans such as "Don't put children's lives at risk" and "Please park in a safe and legal manner," is used to promote safe parking around schools on behalf of Aberdeen Council. But it seems the council isn't following its own advice after residents slightly coloured and passed a parking disc on two separate occasions. Fortunately, the council do seem to be following their own no excuse policy. They announced they would be taking up disciplinary procedures with the driver. So yeah, practice what you preach. Leave that one. And finally for me is King Jong-un defies gravity with new haircut. So Kim Jong-un's back on the scenes. He's been gone for a few months, been out of public eye. So now he's back. North Korea, Supercross, Girl and Nine Toppers, Kid and Play are rocking a bow, creamed, flat top. So this is his new haircut here. And his eyebrows have been shaved smaller either. But what I've noticed, he's actually put on a lot of weight. He's actually got bigger since last year, since he's been out. King Jong-un, the air icon, the North Korean Supreme Leader's attention-grabbing antics on the world stage, as well as possibly his reactions to his portrayal on the silver screen, suggest Kim cares deeply about his public image. Something perhaps newly evidenced by the trapeze-shaped haircut he unveiled on Wednesday at a Politburo meeting. Doing away with his previous look, a centre parter's shaved side cut, his new look, a barrel cream with the flat top, it is style popularised by hip-hop acts like Kid and Play, and more recently seen on the catwalk at Christopher Rabin and Man at last month's men's collection. As with all things fashion, we can assume an haircut is never just an haircut, especially since the North Korean leader famously adopted this style as a way of conveying a connection with King Jong-un, his grandfather. In an interesting twist, the new look is more akin to his father, Kim Jong-il, gravity-defying style. This is Kim Jong-un here, his dad, and his granddad. Kim's new look doesn't stop there, as the despot also showcased new half-shaved eyebrows. Whether this was a nod to the current old-fashioned vogue in women's wear for bleached eyebrows, are seen everywhere from Kim Kardashian's recent Love magazine cover to Marc Jacobs' SS-15 show, we don't know, but it was a fine example of fashion's current love of gender-neutral style. Kai Lee, founder and creative director of Korean salon Wondercare, said Kim's new look was achievable through a combination of perm and wax. It's not too easy to do on Asian hair, he explains, but we get a lot of people coming into the salon requesting this sort of volume. He explains that it's fairly high maintenance too, with that fresh perm every few months. So that's his old haircut here. And he's also looks like not as much, his cheeks have gone up a little bit here, and this is his new haircut. He's quite a bit rounder here. He's put on quite a lot of weight. It's not going to be good for his suspected diabetes, what he's supposed to have got. So yeah, that's King Jong-un. Moving on to Blackhole now. Blackhole.
Oh, thank you, Dom. Yes, the first article for today is about a care worker. This is a care worker admits trying to murder 3 colleagues in West Bromwich. Melissa Swift pleads guilty at Birmingham Crown Court to attempting to murder 3 colleagues at home for elderly after bleach-like substances injected into drinks. So what induced her to do this? There don't seem to be any rhyme or reason. A care worker has admitted trying to murder 3 people at a home for the elderly. Melissa Swift, a former Special Constable, pleaded guilty at Birmingham Crown Court to 3 counts of attempted murder following an incident at Goldfield Court care home in West Bromwich last year. The 23-year-old of Hamlets Road, West Bromwich, was arrested on August the 4th after a number of people developed food poisoning type symptoms. In total, 32 people, including 25 vulnerable residents and 7 staff, were affected. Tests showed that a bleach-like substance had been injected into drinks at their home. They don't seem to be able to work out for rhyme or reason why she's done this. Anyway, Swift, wearing a pink and black smock dress and dark top in the dock, admitted 3 counts of attempted murder between July 30 and August the 4th last year. She also pleaded guilty to 2 charges of making threats to kill, including one against her older sister, Lula Swift, between June and July last year. Adrian Keating, prosecuting, said it's the case she intended to poison 3 of her colleagues at Goldfield Court and made threats to kill on 2 other individuals. Sentencing was adjourned by Judge Philip Parker QC until April 17th for full reports. Speaking outside court, describing Swift's offending against vulnerable people in a care home setting as heinous and coercive. Concerning, yeah. Miss Kerr said, what did she have to say? What can she say? It was.
Yeah, I read this earlier, this article. Yeah, I mean, I think it was like she was set out, she was made to kill. I mean, one of the victims had a stroke-like symptoms because of bleach. It caused her stroke-like symptoms, so one of them's been ill for it.
Yeah.
Looks like she'll get many years behind bars though for it.
And she was a Special Constable. And now she's gone into the care system as a worker, only to create havoc there. What is the
you think, why did she do it as a police constable? It just makes you wonder what she did there. Yeah, it says here when the victim suffered stroke-like symptoms, was admitted into hospital during the period under investigation, but unfortunately she's made a full recovery.
Yeah, anyway, the police forensic officers arrived at Goldfield Court, West Bromwich. Police forensic officers arrived at Goldfield Court. She said one of the victims suffered stroke-like symptoms and was admitted into hospital during the period under investigation. Fortunately, she's made a full recovery. Speaking outside the court, Detective Chief Inspector Michaela Kerr from West Midlands Police described Swift's offending against vulnerable people in a care home setting as heinous and concerning. But she said it was still not clear what Swift's motive had been. She said one of the victims suffered stroke-like symptoms and was admitted into hospital during the period under investigation. As I say, fortunately she'd made a full recovery. Other victims exhibited a range of symptoms similar to food poisoning type symptoms. What are the vetting procedures? Anyway, DCI Kerr added that Swift had been deceived her colleagues and hatched a plan to cause ill to those she worked with as a result of some malice for which we have never totally discovered the cause. She continued, she not only thought out a way of poisoning her workmates, but also followed the plan through and administered bleach to their drinks, leaving them in the usual staff fridge where she knew they would go. The plan was dangerous, reckless and hugely alarming. There is nothing to have stopped anyone from consuming the drinks she tampered with, and given the nature of her profession and workplace as a care provider, she went against everything her dedicated colleagues worked for. Thankfully, no one was seriously injured as a result of what she did, but the story could so easily have been different. It could have been deaths. It is amazing. What vetting procedures are they doing in these places? This is my question on this. I mean, are they just going for the people that are willing to accept the lowest wages? And that is their primary concern, saving money rather than the care of their clients in these care homes? Anyway,
well, it seems that because you were a police constable, they took a trust and they employed her for some reason. She started poisoning people. Like they said, they don't know a motive,
yeah,
but a motive obviously is to kill people. That was the motive, just to kill.
it definitely gave her undue gravitas, didn't it? I mean, but then again, a lot of the police are now psychometric tested when they go for the police jobs, and with this psychometric testing, they still seem to be picking out the thugs. I'm not saying all police are bad, because there are some very, very good policemen out there that do a very, very good job. But just lately, I'm seeing different protests and that, the way police are reacting, it's coming down to their training. It's the common purpose, neuro-linguistic programming that they're getting programmed, and it's not the caring constable of days of old. It's the officers now that do their job without question, and they are supposed to question their orders if they think they're wrong. And that they can't get away with, well, I was only following orders, because that don't wash, as we all know about the Nuremberg trials. But shall we go on to the next article? Have you got anything to say on that, Don?
Well, are you following that story? Because there should be going to be a big court that it'll be used again. See what the sentence is in a trial.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm following that story anyway. See what happens to her.
Yeah, keep an eye on that one. See what comes
see
out
how many years she got, because she hasn't actually killed anyone. So we'll see how many years she does get. See if it's a few years or it's many. Yeah.
Attempted murders. I mean, she can't be trusted. That's obvious.
Yeah, definitely can't be trusted. She'll never work. She'll struggle to get a job the rest of her life after she comes out of prison.
Anyway, this article is Britain cannot defend itself against Putin's military might, the top brass warn. Former RAF chief says that Britain's defences have been decimated and will not survive a Russian air attack. Right. Britain cannot defend itself against the military threat posed by Russia, senior army figures have warned, as two RAF Tycoon fighters were scrambled on Wednesday evening to escort Russian long-range bombers flying off Cornwall. Military chiefs said that the UK could not cope with an all-out attack as air defences have been decimated. David Cameron said Moscow appears to be trying to make some sort of point. Well, I think Mr. Cameron's been trying to make lots of points. I mean, with a ridiculous thing he came out with that we need 5,000 troops to keep Europe safe. I think Mr. Cameron needs to add a lot more zeros on the end of 5,000 troops for us to make it safe.
Is that what he said? 5,000? Is that it? 5,000?
Yeah, 5,000 troops to make Europe safe, and
I think that's actually more than our army, actually. The only 4,000 and odd in our army, entire army, 4,000 and something.
I'm not exactly certain of what.
Yeah, I've seen it before. There's about 4,000 and odd in the army altogether.
Yeah, but say they've been cutting back on air defence for such a long time, they are now leaving every man, woman and child in the country at very high risk now. And with them doing this to air services, they should be now done for treason. No two ways about it, because they are leaving our country exposed to being taken over by foreign forces. But anyway, we'll continue here. I didn't think we should dignify it too much with the response, he said. However, Sir Michael Graydon, former head of the RAF, appeared to take the threat far more seriously. Mr. Graydon is the ex-Air Chief Marshal between 1992 and 1997. He said back on the 25th of September, when ISIS started coming to the fore in Iraq, back in 2014, September 2014, he said, we're down to bare bones. The RAF is at rock bottom after years of cuts, and sustaining airstrikes against Isil, which is the Islamic State of Iraq Levant, or if you want to call it ISIS, which is the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service, would be quite a stretch. So we're being left putting our men into danger, stretching air forces to the limits. We're opening up new fronts in different countries when our own country is vulnerable. This is absolutely outrageous. What is our Prime Minister doing? What the heck does he think he is doing? I hate to say it, but I truly believe we are being ruled by an imbecile. Because you don't send your troops that are protecting your country abroad to different war zones when you need them at home. Especially when Mr. Cameron's rattling the war sabre against Putin and making him a big boogeyman. Well, what's your thoughts on that one, Don?
Yeah, I think on it where Islamic State will defeat us if all European countries get together. It's like and then draw to attack. Britain can't do it on their own. Even America can't do it on their own. We need America, Britain, France, and Germany to lead the way.
Yeah,
but France have done some airstrikes, but Britain after all airstrikes being done on Islamic State, Britain are only responsible for 6% of them.
Yeah, but as I say, Mr. Cameron saying, what has Mr. Putin got to prove? He's not proving anything. Those bombers were in international airspace. And air fighter jets do that on a regular basis. It's making sure they're not coming into our airspace. It's blowing it all up out of proportion. It's fear-mongering the British population. It's trying to get the British population uptight and saying we've got to do something about it. He's blowing his horn and there's no need for it.
Oh, sorry, this article on Russia, into so I thought you were Islamic State. This one, yeah. I mean, I think Cameron says he won't be able to defeat Russia, but I think America and Britain got together. I think we could defeat Russia.
But say there isn't any call for this. It's all a saber rattling, mainly from our side. Although we keep trying to make Russia the boogeyman. They even use false photographs of saying Putin's troops were crossing the border and sending in armoured cars and troops. And those photographs were from another war zone of days gone by. It was complete false, it is. That they are using this to stoke up the fire and beat the drums of war. And they're trying to beat the drums of war because they want us to be under a wartime situation, which means we are then under martial law. And that is when they will bring down the harshness upon us all. And that is what they're after. This is what this is about. This is what it's all about. They are trying to absolutely control us and bring in a new world order.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but anyway, David Cameron said that Moscow appeared to be trying to make some sort of point. I don't think we should dignify it with too much of a response, he said. But I mean, Sir Michael Graydon, he's of old school, and he knows that all our armaments are so low that we cannot fight. We cannot fight a battle. We have not the defence system there now. And even if we rely on the Americans are fighting so many different fronts around the world.
But it has to be more countries, wouldn't it? Even European countries getting involved, like France and Germany. They'd have to, obviously, they would get involved, obviously. But
I mean,
I don't think it'll come to that anyway. I can't see it being a World War III.
Yeah. But even before Cameron came into power, he went over to France, and he was making deals with the French then. And that is to draw us into the European army.
Yeah.
This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to meld us in with the European army. They're taking away our sovereignty. They're taking away our rights. That forced us into the EU under the pretense of a common market. And that was the referendum back in 1975. Do we want to join the common market for trade? And it was for trade only. But now, no, they're saying we're in the EU. And yet the people have not gave the government the mandate for that. We have not had a referendum. Cameron keeps promising the people a referendum, and then he's not giving it. Then he's saying, oh, when I'm in next term, I'll give you the referendum. He's been in the next term. Have we had the referendum? No. He's lying through his back teeth. And I don't trust the man. He's shaking that saber rattle of war. He's making Putin to be the big bad boogeyman. And the people, well, I know I'm absolutely sick of it to the back teeth. And the people are not stupid. They can see what's happening. But anyway, that's my coverage of the big outcry that the bombers are in our airspace, where they're not in our airspace, they're still in international airspace. And I just thought that needed to be made plain to the people that Russia is doing nothing wrong. Russia are being threatened left, right and centre. And like any country with a bit of self-respect, they'll be probing along the borders of the country where they can to see where the weak points are. Because I know if I was in charge of Russia, that is exactly what I would be doing. But that's all I've got for tonight, Dom.
Yeah, that was a good article, that. Very good. Yeah, very good article. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for watching Flux News, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
so, yeah, good night. A good night from me, people, large or small, young or old. When you put your head on that pillow tonight, I hope you float up on the spine of a feather. Good night.